Here I am, a pretty much ex-full-time RVer, ready to tell all you potential full-time RVers how to live your lives. First of all, how old are you when you are making this decision? If you're in your 20s, what are people in their 20s normally doing? Forming relationships, having children? You aren't going to be doing that if you're out on the road. If you're in your 30s, what are you going to be doing then? Normal people, regular people, are forming the basis of their career. Again, they're having their relationships and their families. They're not out on the road. You're going to miss that time doing things that normal people do. How is that going to affect you when you're 40? If you're in your 40s and you decide to do that, that's normally a pretty high earning time for people. They're established in their careers, they're moving along, they're doing what they want to do, they're building their assets, they've got their children are pretty much grown. If you're out on the road at that point, what does that do to your life? What does that do to your life when you're in your 50s? If you are in your 50s and you decide to do this, what does that do to you when you're 60? Your 50s are when most people really start taking their retirement seriously. They start building their assets, their house is paid off or getting paid off. They're in a situation where they're pretty comfortable. They've gotten a lot of what they wanted to, they've been working for. And what is it going to do if you leave in your 50s? What's that going to do to you when you're 60? If you're in your 60s and you decide to take off, okay, you're probably closing in on retirement. You've got whatever pension you're going to have put together. You've got your 401k, your IRAs. What do people normally do in their 60s? Well, if they're healthy, that's a pretty good time to go off and do full-time RVing if they want to. But don't forget, when you make this decision, it's going to affect what you're doing when you're in your 70s. The first excuse that people have is, we only live once, we're going to go do this now, let's just go and do it right. And they sell their house, turn their assets into an RV, and 10 years later, or most of them don't last 10 years, 5 or 6 years later, their money's gone, their RV is depreciated, and they have nothing. They have to look for a way. Their health is beginning to deteriorate. They can't come back from the damage they did. Don't do that. If you want an RV, that's fine. You should have planned it years ahead. Buy something small, buy something affordable. Do not turn your retirement fund or your house money into an RV and take off. Because when you are 70 and you are starting to have health issues, you're going to be very sorry that you did that. There's going to be very little way for you to come back. When we bought our motorhome in our 60s, we paid almost $70,000 for it. We put the house money away because we did sell. We did not want to come back to that particular house. We put the house money away and invested it. We did not blow it on the RV. The RV that we bought for almost $70,000, we're now going to be selling for $22,000 to $25,000 if we're lucky. If we had not made sure that the house money was safe, we would be in that situation where our health was failing, the RV was worth almost nothing, and the money was gone. If you can't afford that big blowout RV you want, settle for something smaller. You are not going to be in it permanently. There is no such thing as the forever RV, because you're going to have medical issues that are going to force you off the road. You're eventually going to be an unsafe driver, and that will force you off the road. Always make sure that when you make a decision like this, you're looking at what you are going to be 10 years from now and what that's going to do to your life.